Hi, I'm Carrie Pacini with opmom.com, a social networking site for moms, and we are speaking with Tim Smith from French Country Wines, and we are going to talk about champagne and sparkling wines. And so, where do we start?
Well, can we open some right now?
Yeah, exactly. I'm for that as well.
Well, there are a number of different types of wines that fit into the genre of champagne and sparkling wines. And they run a wide range of prices, as most people know already. That's not news. But there are some differences that can be made according to one's budget for drink, for, I guess the conception is that sparkling wines and champagnes are really for New Year's Eve or special celebrations, birthdays, anniversaries, when in fact these wines are just as good when had with a meal as for a celebration. In fact, if you eat food with the wines, you probably, for those that are susceptible to headaches, you're probably doing yourself a favor by having some food along with the sparkling wine. But the price ranges are anywhere from about $10 a bottle up to, well, for the premium champagnes and especially the vintage champagnes, you're getting into thousands of dollars per bottle. But we're not going to deal with that. We're going to talk with the ones that are a lot more affordable.
Okay.
A sparkling wine differs from a champagne because it's not made in Champagne. The French are very particular about how that all fits together. And in fact, one of the reasons that champagnes have risen in price so much over the last few years has been because there's just only so many acres of land on which grapes can be grown in the Champagne region. And as demand increases, supply doesn't increase quite so rapidly. Also, because of the way champagnes are made, in many cases, a bottle of champagne is going to sit in the manufacturer's cave for at least a year and a half after it's been bottled, again, according to French regulation.
Right.
So they got a lot of money invested in bottles that are just sitting around, and that needs to be accounted for in the price. Sparkling wines are made in much the same way as champagne. They're just not made in champagne. You'll find on most of the bottles, you'll find this term, method, in this particular case it says method traditionnelle, sometimes it says method champenoise.
Okay.
All of which means the same thing.
It means the same thing, okay.
The grapes are pressed, they're fermented, then they're bottled, and then they go into a second fermentation in the bottle.
Okay.
Sugar is added, they continue to ferment, and that's where the bubbles come from.
Well, let me ask you a question. Does a sparkling wine have more sugar in it than a champagne? Is there a difference?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Not necessarily. Although sparkling, as opposed to champagne, tend to be a little sweeter.
Okay.
But, for example, this particular bottle is labeled brut, which means that it's dry.
Okay.
Not so much sugar.
And when you, so if I see brut, it's not going to be very sugary, but what about if it says extra brut, or you get the extra,
That means there's more sugar in it.
More sugar.
Yeah, extra brut does not mean extra dry. It's going the other direction.
I did not know that. Thank you.
And then you will go down the ladder. I mean, a brut has about 6 grams of sugar per liter.
And that's the acceptable?
And that's an acceptable limit. Some have less. Most have more.
Is that actually on the bottle label, how much sugar?
It's not. No, it's not. You don't find, well, it is because
if you look,
it's called brut.
Okay.
And brut means no more than 6 grams of sugar.
Got it. An extra brut is going the other way. What about a demi-sec? What does that mean?
That's even sweeter than extra brut.
Even sweeter. Okay.
So we're going downhill as far as headaches are concerned.
Right. So basically, if you're someone that's prone to getting headaches, from drinking a sparkling or champagne, really make sure you're drinking a brut, and I think that would really cut that down, because I don't have that problem as long as I'm drinking a brut.
Well, also, as I said before, it helps an awful lot to be eating something with it.
Right. Right.
Most people will drink a sparkling wine with maybe not so much in their stomach.
And sparkling or champagne goes so well with appetizers and cheeses. There's no reason why you shouldn't be eating while you're drinking. Eat even food.
What most people don't realize is that champagne is a man for all seasons, or a wine for all seasons, because it goes so well with everything. It's a lot like other more flexible wines. Just because it's sparkling doesn't mean you have to save it for celebration. If you like seafood, a sparkling wine or a champagne, couldn't find a better match.
Okay.
For a dessert, it's a pretty good match. You get into the rosé champagnes, which are that color because they're a mixture of Pinot Noir and Chardonnay grapes. And the skins are left on the juice for a little while, a few hours after the pressing, and that gives it the color. Then this is a perfect dessert wine, although it's also very good with meals. It's also considered to be an exceptional celebratory drink.
Right.
So, I mean, it's champagnes and sparkling wines, I think, are the most fun out of the wine family.
I completely agree.
There are all sorts of different flavors. Champagnes are made really principally from just two grapes, the Chardonnay and the Pinot Noir.
Okay.
They come from a very small region in France. They can't make everything that everybody wants, consequently the prices are high. The wines that I think you'll find good value for are probably going to run you between $30 and $40 a bottle.
Okay.
Those will be the real value buys. As I mentioned before, the sparklings can go from 10 up until probably as much as a bottle of champagne.
Right.
So one of the things that we didn't talk about so far were dessert wines.
Right.
And we have a dessert wine here from Italy, Rosa Regale. And these types of wines are excellent with chocolate dessert.
Yes.
I see on the table in front of us,
Right.
we have some chocolate-covered
You can
strawberries.
basically serve this with anything that has chocolate in it, and this is going to pair with it amazingly. Any kind of chocolate. We have chocolate out here. We have the chocolate-covered strawberries. I honestly love to make a tiramisu to go with this one, and it's amazing. So definitely give this one a try if you like dessert wines. So, and these two wines now, this is a sparkling. You actually sell these.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yes, they're the first champagnes we've imported.
I'm so excited about that.
Me too. They're delightful. They really are delightful. We've had a rush of sales on these wines. One of my restaurant customers tasted it and he said, "Where do you find these wines?" And I like to say that it's only after spending a lot of time over there and sampling a lot of wines. It's hard work, but it's just something I have to do.
Right. For all of us over here.
That's right. I'm taking one for the team.
Exactly. Well, that's great. Well, if you would like to learn more about these wines, go to FrenchCountryWines.com, and I know that I'll definitely be visiting you and getting some myself.
And I hope you enjoy them.
We will. Thank you.